Hi, and welcome to another tea tasting video. Today, as you can see me glistening probably, it is ruthlessly warm and sweaty outside in Belgium today. And it's gonna get a whole lot more uncomfortable and sweaty with me boiling water for tea. But at least I can get comfort into enjoying one of my favorite types of tea, which is a white tea. Today we will be enjoying a Yi Pian Xiao Bai. Show it right here. So this was a sample sent to me from, I guess at this point a regular, Yi. So as the name suggests, Xiao Bai, it means small white. So we are drinking a white tea from the small leaf variety. I believe it's called Kai Cha or Xiao Bai Cha cultivar. Usually white teas are made from big leaf varieties like Fuding Da Bai. The Da stands for large, Xiao means small, Xiao Bai, small tea. We are in the region of white teas in Fujian. More specifically, and I will butcher the name, I am very sorry, it is, let me take a quick sneak peek here, Qianyang, which is in Nanping, I believe. So Fujian is southeastern China. It's like next to Taiwan. It's a bit of a sea between, of course, but Taiwan is right there. Huge known for white tea, but mostly large leaf variety white tea, if I'm not mistaken. Today we're drinking a seemingly more rare and rare small leaf white tea. More specifically, it is a gongmei, as it is shown here. Never had it before, so I'm very excited to taste all this. Gongmei is a grade of white tea. I believe there's 4. We have the silver needle, which is the first grade. It means that we are only picking the early buds, right? It's early pickings and only the buds of the tea, so very highly sought after, very expensive, very intensive to harvest. Then you have the Bai Mudan, the white peony. Well, our thirsty dragon. Well then, let me just pause this for a moment. I just noticed there's just one thing missing, you know, maybe a cup to drink from would be nice, so I'll be right back. So nothing happened, everything was perfectly in order, as usual. Definitely did not forget a cup. So we're heating up our teaware. And maybe I should add the microphone correctly. We are in absolute peak form. Oh boy, yeah, it's been a while since I've been drinking tea on camera. And it's weird, right? It's exactly the same as just drinking tea, but somehow I just get flustered. I am sweating. It is so uncomfortable here. Take a good sip. It might be, I'm not sure if the recording will be quite echoey. I've moved recently and I'm still trying to figure out a good position for recording. I also have, sometimes depending on the time of day, quite a bit of a bunch of noisy people upstairs, so I hope they won't be interrupting the recording too much, but we'll see. If anything happens, like, you know, it's too echoey, it's too much noise, I'll try to find a solution for future recordings. 85 degrees. I'll do a quick rinse of the tea. Just pour hot water over it and then pour it out immediately. Should be faster as this, but you know, doesn't matter. We are here just to enjoy tea. There's no one timing us, watching us. I didn't even smell the dry leaf. So let's at least smell the wet leaf. It seems we are blessed by the noisy neighbors. You have a good, nice sip. It's a big dragon. He needs a lot of water. It's very cool. It's a bit big sometimes. That's usually why I record with the smaller lion as a tea pad. Even though I like this one, it was gifted to me by my parents. It's quite cool, but it's a bit big. I think they didn't expect it to be this big as well. This is definitely white tea. I'm getting the typical rural, like, you know, pastures, meadows. It's like you're walking through like a rural area. I've said it many times, you know, you see cows and sheep and wet grass drying in the sun. Ooh. It's a very lovely smell coming from the gaiwan itself. Much more powerful, of course. Ooh. It's almost hay-like in smell. Which reminds me, I was talking about the gradings, right? Before I did not forget my cup at all. Gradings. So you have silver needle, right? Very intensive. Only the first like buds get plucked. So it's only bud, no leaf whatsoever. It's the first grade tea. Then you have the Bai Mudan or white peony, which is bud. So it's a bit later, harvested a bit later. You have the bud, and then the leaf, like the first leaf beneath the bud. That's the second grade of quality. I don't know if it's quality, but it's the second grade of tea picking at least. Third grade is what we are drinking today, which is gongmei. Right, gongmei, which means bud and then two leaves. And then you have the fourth grade, which is shoumei, I believe, or shumei, which is, well, even later, right? It's the latest picking, so it's much more intense. And it has even more leaves. I guess it's 3, I'm not sure, but it's definitely more than the previous ones, right? And that's the fourth grade of picking. So that doesn't mean it's worse, right? Like third grade doesn't mean it's just less intensive, right? You can wait longer for it to pick. It's grown more, it's got more nutrients, it's very different, right? For the very delicate and usually very mild in taste, but just a very delicate and pleasing silver needle compared to a much more powerful tasting, you know, shumei. So I use 85 degrees usually with whites, although I've been recently talking to some shop owners and they said that sometimes they just go to 90, so maybe we'll try 90 as well. I usually stick between 80 and 85. So white tea, it's very clumped together still, so I'll just give it like another 10 seconds to infuse. At least I'll try. I'm very bad in timing. Well, I think we should be around there. So let's get it out. Very beautiful white tea color. Expect it to be darker actually. It's a typical, like, very bright. A lot of what do you call? Are they trichomes? Little hairs that protect the young leaves from drying out. Oh, they are swimming in there. It's crazy. That's very cool. I'll try to show it. Oh man. professionals at work here. As you can see, someday I will have a camera with actual color representation, maybe. You can't even see the trichome swimming. It's such a shame. It's like a furry drink almost. That doesn't sound appetizing at all. But believe me, I'm sure it will be. So let's take another whiff here. Yeah, very the tip, like intense hay, some chocolate, some vanilla, some herby, sweet as well. It's beautiful. I love white tea. I truly love it. All right, cheers. Very mild in flavor for now, which because I've never had gong mei, I don't think, at least. Very smooth, very pleasant, sweet. Right now, only thing I can think of is just a sweetness, a more floral sweetness, I guess. It's not like sugar or not even honey, like that. It's just very sweet and very soft, very delicate tasting. It's really nice. This could be like a great, for now, we don't know, of course, if it'll change a lot. But if it will remain tasting like this, I think this would be a beautiful tea to just wake up with when it's really sunny, because it's very pleasant, it's very refreshing. Just like a pleasant sweetness, almost like a, yeah, I guess like a very, I mean, what I was gonna say doesn't make sense, because it does remind me of honey, but it is not as sweet. So it's like a not as sweet honey, which makes no sense when you say it out loud. So, it goes down quickly, even though it's very hot. It's so pleasant. This is definitely a very enjoyable, like, daily drinker. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Like, I could see myself easily just wake up early morning, especially like in a hot days like this. Yeah. So this might be the last recording I will make before I'm off to a yearly festival. Every year, me and my brother and my father, we go to a local, I guess, I mean national metal festival in Belgium, Alcatraz Festival. Very excited. It looks really good this year as well. I'm still waiting on those really big names to see some year, but every day they are definitely, you know, getting up there. Very excited to listen to Opeth, Amon Amarth, Paradise Lost, to name a few, I suppose. There's also very strong metal bands like Hypotraktor, Potamus, Rigvila Welcome. I love metal, and especially the more experimental side, the post-metal, I guess they call it extreme metal, which is like a very broad term. There's very heavy instrumentals or psychedelic metals. Yeah, I love all of them. And Belgium seems to be pretty good at them because there's a lot of really good bands right now. Psychonaut, Hypotractor, Brickfield, Hypotamus. Of course, Amenra, which is probably the biggest one of them all. But they're not playing at Alcatraz this year. They've been in their previous years. So yeah, and then after that I'll be on holiday as well. So I'll try to keep the videos coming while I'm gone, but this will probably be the last one that I'll be recording before I'm gone, and then hopefully you won't notice it. You won't notice the absence. What else did I write down about this? If I did anything, did I say everything? I think I did. Yeah. Oh, actually, I see. I tried to do a little bit of research, right, because at the end of this, I just make this for me to teach myself more about tea. The Qianyang, the area where we are drinking this tea from. Apparently, it's known for pottery. They specifically like a dark, black pottery. I'll show some examples of it. It looks very interesting. I still prefer white for now because I've got some dark cups, for example. But I enjoy watching the color of tea, and any other colored cup, of course, changes that color, makes it more difficult to really assess the colors of tea. But they are very pleasing. They look very nice. So maybe I'll get some in the future. To drink whenever you're not really tasting and discerning and trying to learn the intricacies of these teas. Oh, excuse me. Oh. So this was a very impromptu recording because I've been trying to find a time, but it's been pretty bad, the weather. So you don't feel too hot. Well, I feel very hot, but not comfortable. Especially, mostly it's because I'm boiling the water here, so the humidity and the temperatures rise here as well. But I guess the things we do for love of this beautiful, beautiful beverage. So let's see if we can get some more out of it. And actually, we should be able to. Can we see if there is indeed just one bud and 2 leaves for it to be gongmei? So when they get a little bit more loose, let's see if it is indeed truly a gongmei tea. Still just the same. It's a bit more dark. Ooh. Like the color's got a bit more golden, definitely. It's definitely got a little bit more darker yellow. I'm not sure if you will be able to see that on camera. The taste is still the same. Sweet, pleasant. Like a white chocolatey. I think that, yeah, like a white chocolate sweetness. The grassiness, the typical like white tea grassiness is there. This doesn't seem to be like a complex tea. It's just good, nice, proper. If you want a tea that you can just be consistent and you will just most likely enjoy any time you make it. It doesn't matter the time, doesn't matter the weather, doesn't matter the time. I think this is a good candidate for that. think I'll probably do like one more infusion. Maybe I'll try the 90 degrees, as a few have mentioned before. See what that changes, if anything. Just a very nice, pleasant, relaxing trip. I feel very relaxed. I feel quite refreshed even. I feel, despite me absolutely sweating and being in discomfort right now, this tea gives me some solace. I'm looking at the mic picking up noise, because I myself am not hearing it as clearly, but clearly something is being picked up, so I'm guessing it's footsteps. I'm waiting on a thermos that I've ordered online, that I hope is good enough, so I can go outside in the early morning, or maybe even in the evening, visit some nearby parks and forests and drink there and maybe record there, you know. As I really enjoy recording outside, but where I have moved to now, unfortunately, the place where I was recording before is no longer available, or not as easily available, rather. So that's something I'm looking forward to try. Although it will be harder to regulate the temperature, of course. Right, 90 degrees. Very curious. Yeah, not a lot to note here. Right? Tasting notes wise. Like, I don't want to sound negative about the tea at all. It's a simple tea, and I like simple. Maybe not as suited for for like a tea tasting session. Like now, right? It's trying to find out more stuff, but I'm just not. My palate hasn't evolved enough yet, I guess, to really dig in like a delicate tea like this. But yeah, very pleasant. Now, I should have probably kept time with the 90 degrees, because it's already hotter, so I don't want to overbrew it, so to speak. Let's give it another 5 seconds. It's probably already too long. All right. So they also have a 29th, this one is from 2023. I don't know if I actually mentioned that. They also have, if they still do at least, had a 2019 version of this in stock. I might be curious to try that. Maybe buy both of them again, and then we can test out if there's much difference between the 2019 and 2023 version. Version? Why am I saying version? Like like this, like a piece of software. force of habit, I guess. I've been working for IT for quite a while, so I guess it starts to seep into other things. But yeah, I'm very curious what the difference would be between like an aged white from 2019 and a much slightly younger aged white. Honestly, I feel like it's annoying. It's difficult to test, right? It's difficult to gauge, as this is the third infusion. So it might just be that third infusion is already losing a bit of taste. But now at 90, for sure, it feels like there's even less taste than before. Now it's no longer feeling like as gentle as well. It's a bit more. It's still smooth, but it starts to become a slightly more bitter. I preferred the previous two brews for sure. I definitely recommend keeping this between 80 and 85 degrees centigrade. Yeah, I feel just overall it's much weaker. I'm not impressed by this. Before it was, it was nice and sweet and pleasant, refreshing. Now it's not really any of these things anymore. It's not like it's strictly worse for me. I'll say that. So I guess I'll do another one at 85 again and see if it's the same as now. So we can at least try to see if it's the temperature is just because we're getting at our fourth infusion. Although I do get a little bit more chocolate, and I think it's because of the added bitter. I say bitterness, but it's not bitter at all, right? It's just a little bit more of bitterness to it. So I get more of that chocolate. So if you enjoy that like chocolate bitterness, so I turn more from white chocolate to a slightly more dark chocolate, like a very low percentage dark chocolate. So if you're out there, if you're watching this, have you ever had gongmei? Specifically from small leaf variety, although you can also talk about it if it was the large leaf variety. Was it also as simple in taste? I am quite curious to know. Is this just what is to be expected of a simple, good everyday drinker? I definitely had white teas where there was a lot of complexity going on. Actually, can we take a look now? Because now they're getting more loose, I want to say, or maybe here. Do we have bud and 2 leaves? Not really, maybe here. Guess when they're so hard pressed to each other, it's they probably already broke up. Or broke apart. Yeah. I think we got one. So that is bud. So we have bud here and the first leaf. So let's see if you can see it here. And then we have the slightly bigger leaf from below, probably, but it's broken off. 85 degrees again. Final infusion of the recording, and I think it's also getting near the end. It's definitely not one, but I think that's usual with, I feel like that's usual with YTs at least. I usually get like 4, maybe 5 infusions out of it, and then starting to lose that gentle nature, so to speak. So, any festival goers or music fans yourself? I've always liked, I like jazz, I like metal, as I've said before. It's probably my favorite genre. It's very big, of course. It's a lot of subgenres. It's very varied itself. I like the classics of the jazz. Also, and I guess it's derived from the more instrumental, psychedelic metals. There's also, of course, the post-rocks, psychedelic rock, stoner rock. I also enjoy that. But most metal, I'm all about it. Doesn't mean I'll listen to everything. I'm not the greatest, not the biggest, for example, deathcore fan and all that stuff. Like, that's a bit much for me. But when they're live, I'll watch them live. I usually appreciate a lot of genres of music in general more live than on recording. Like, I've listened to tons of bands on these festivals, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is not bad," but I would never actually play them, at home. Okay, final infusion, 85 degrees again. Cheers. It's definitely less harsh, so I definitely prefer 85. I would go to 90 with this tea specifically. Maybe there's other YTs that could definitely handle it. I'm sure there are. But I prefer this one at 85. Maybe even lower temperature, like 80 might be better. We haven't tried that, but I guess we won't find out today. Much less harsh. It's pleasant. It's refreshing despite being hot. Yeah, it is great. It's a very fun tea to just make. I think it's perfect tea for if you, for example, you just have a small teapot, porcelain or glass, doesn't matter. Just chuck it in, at your desk or something. It's perfect for that. I think if this was like, these styles of tea should be like the introduction for people into tea, right? There's so many people that I know that the first time, like, I'll offer some tea if they want to drink some tea, and they'll be like, "Oh no, I don't really drink tea." That's usually their answer. And it's like, "Well, have you actually had it?" Because I understand it, because I grew up back on the bags of tea, right? Belgium isn't a tea country. It's it's usually tea and coffee for us, or like in the same space, and so people tend to gravitate towards coffee. I think they fulfill very different roles, personally, but I used to think the same thing, that it's either tea or coffee. I like coffee, and I love tea. But a lot of people, their first experience with tea, just as mine, is shitty bags. Let's be honest here, very shitty, bitter bags with bad info. So your experience of tea is usually, oh, it's that bitter water, that bitter slop. That's unfortunate. Luckily, usually when I get them to drink something, they'll be, you know, oh, it can taste like that, or they'll still like, it tastes like tea to me, which is fair, you know. It's not for everyone. I'm not trying to convert anyone, I'm just trying to give it a chance, right? Give it a chance. That's all I want people to do, just with everything. There's so many flavors to explore, not only in tea, because that's something else I'd like to do, is actually just, it would be a bit more silly. It would be more like, you know, tasting and rating all kinds of drinks. Beers, sake, wines, gin especially. Like, I love gin. I love beer. I think those two, I like sake as well. So we could taste those and maybe, you know, make it a bit more silly, less intense, or maybe equally intense. Like, they all deserve the same attention, honestly, especially beer. Although, you know, maybe I'm biased. Maybe I should rate my teas as well. I'll note things down, but I don't really grade them because I don't feel like I've had enough experience, right? I've only been doing this, like drinking tea, for it might be a year now, something along those lines. A year, maybe slightly above a year. I know nothing, right? I'm a complete idiot, as you can see. Like, I don't know anything. I just know I enjoy it, and I try to know more about it. My God, this video has been going on way too long. Should have been an infusion before, but you know, it is what it is. Tea. That's fine. I enjoy tea the most when nothing is like perfectly measured. And that's when I'd like to try to do some more like ceremonial stuff, but not like exactly ceremonial stuff, but more like storied stuff. I'd like to organize it for some friends, where I will put some teas together, build a story around it while I brew it, and you know, then you require exact measurements and timing because you want to recreate the taste every time. But I think tea at its best is just when you wing it, just as nature wings it, right? It just grows and gets, and then things happen. The tea masters put like their soul into the leaf, so I do think the leaf demands respect. To get the taste that the tea masters want you to have from it, which is very true. But I do think once you start to worry about it while drinking, like, oh, did I do it well enough? Did I put enough in there? Is it not enough? Is the water too hot? Not hot enough? Is it too long? Is it too short? Instead of worrying about that, just do it, and then if you didn't like it, change the parameters and do it again. That's the advantage of drinking it in the style of, you know, using a lot of leaf and not a lot of water. You have plenty of chances to try again, especially with certain tea types like oolongs and pu'ers, right? I'm glad with 85 degrees it came back to form, so it was definitely the 90 degrees that don't really work on this one for me personally. It's so sweaty here that my headphones or like my monitors, in-ear monitors, are just sliding out. Yeah, that's going to be about it for me for this video. Thanks for watching. This is a very nice tea. I didn't really say a lot about it. I know that. I think it's also got to do with just how uncomfortable and how warm it is today. But it is a very pleasant tea. It is a very pleasant tea. It is it's sweet, it's gentle, it's relaxing, it's refreshing. But don't go above 85. I don't think that's a good place for this tea. And yeah, stay tuned for other videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.